Okay, hello everyone. So I'm going to talk about my favorite subject. It's overcoming opposition, spiritual warfare, and strategy. So this is like a 5 to 10 minute short videos. I'm going to talk about Nehemiah, only chapter 2, like few verses only. But before I start Nehemiah, I really want to talk to you about like what is oppositions, what's a spiritual warfare, a little bit like us. So lots of people think evil doesn't exist. But in a real life, we have a sickness, things happen in a life, even in a family, even with loved ones. Sometimes they verbally and physically, emotionally abuse us. And sometimes even the friends like betray us. And we just sometimes we don't know what's going on. And it's real, actually. And oftentimes we think it's a flesh. The people think like, can I forgive those people? Like sometimes like just like bitterness comes to you. So before I started, evil is not an abstract concept. Devil exists. If you cannot see, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. People even don't see the God, but they believe it. So here, if you ignore this fact, that may make us victims of the devil's schemes. You have to think, imagine that like 1/3 of the heaven fall with him. So in that case, basically, all the angels, those things are smart beings, not a dumb being. So imagine they fall down with him. So how smart he is, actually. One of the smart angels, one of the beautiful angels, one of them, archangels. So you have to think about that. It's not just a small devil just walking around just like this, and they're like, hey, I'll trick you and go. Not like that. They're actually structured. You have to understand that. So Ephesians 6:12, let's read. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood. So oftentimes things happen to you, you will see the person and like cannot forgive those things. You have to think our struggle is not against flesh and blood. You have to see behind devil's scheme, actually, but against the rulers, against the powers, against the world forces of this darkness, against the spiritual forces of the wickedness in these heavenly places. As you can see, there's a third heaven, but there's like heavenly places, there's a darkness, there's a principalities, and there are many things. They're structured. There's not just a thing like, hey, just we do this one. No, it's actually structured. So we are ignoring this is not a good thing, first of all. Second of all, lots of people say, hey, Jesus did everything on the cross. Jesus win. Yes, he win, but the war is not finished. The enemy is still in the world. It's written in the Bible. But people think, hey, Jesus win it. We don't have to do anything, which is a wrong thing, which just makes us just still, passive, we just like become victims of the devil's scheme, even without knowing. So that's also ignorance is not a good thing as well. So we must acknowledge that our adversary is actively trying to deceive, steal, and kill, and destroy both individuals and countries around the world. So you have to know that. So I usually teach John 10:10 a lot because that's the devil's scheme. The thief comes only in order to steal and kill and destroy. It says only. So their scheme is only to steal it, steal your life, steal your identity, steal your finances, steal your, health, relationships, marriages. That's what they come, and kill your life and destroy it. So destroying your careers, destroying your ministry, that's they come here to do it, only to do this one. And they have a purpose, they have a strategy, they come to, comes to you. But do not have to be afraid of them. They have to be afraid of you, actually, against. So Jesus says, I can that they may have and enjoy life, have it in abundance, the full till it overflows it. It's an amplified classic version of it. So the Jesus is, on the hand, very opposite of the devil. And lots of people also confuses that, hey, God gives us these things in opposition so that I can learn it. There's some situations, but not all the time. You have to really see the devil. You have to learn to distinguish it and distinguish that. That's very, very important thing. So let's look further on Nehemiah chapter 2-6. So Nehemiah is an ordinary person. I like him that because he's just not a prophet, just ordinary person. God called him, actually. not really calling like a Samuel. You're not calling him like that. He just have a, like, when you think about he want to do this project, in urgency he's feeling, and that's a very big project. He's not doesn't have the money to do that, power to do that, but he did it anyway because of the God's help. But he used lots of strategies. When he doing the project, lots of things happen to him. And in the real life, when we're building, especially in the ministry, especially in the God's kingdom, when you're working, spiritual warfare is the things going to happen to you all the time, actually. So the things, the first one is opposition through accusation. They accuse you of someone, even loved ones, accuse you, like even the person who knows you, even there some people, like different people. It's in Nehemiah 2, 19, 20. We're going to learn that today. Opposition of through criticism. They criticize you, but your ministry is small, you cannot do this, you don't have any ability. It's like it's different than teachers. Like if I just problem solving, I make mistake. Oh, yeah, but you made a mistake here. Let's improve this. That's a different story. But this was like who you are. You're never gonna solve this problem. You cannot do that. You cannot dance. You cannot do business. It's actually criticize you based on like who you are. Sometimes that's a wrong thing, and they can even threat you attack. And they did that. And then Nehemiah was like, I really like the book of Nehemiah because not only they have a adversary, they have warfare, oppositions, but he also has solutions, which is really important. We have to learn those things. That's very important. What the Nehemiah did, we can use at this time. So, and there also opposition from within, like even within the church, the things can happen. And within, like inside their team, they have issues, and through compromise, through slander, through betrayal, and all of the time, all those things, it's you can read this book. So since we don't have enough time, we're going to talk about only one thing, the first thing. So opposition through accusation. So let's read Nehemiah 2:19. Probably I'm not going to read well here for those people's name. If it's make mistakes, that's okay. Forgive me, okay? So Nehemiah 2:19. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, and servant, Ammonite, and Gesem, the Arab heard of it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us and said, what is this thing you are doing? Will you rebel against the king? So they're kind of laughing. They also like, you are rebelling, accusing. So, and then I really like that Nehemiah says, like in 20 verse, I answered them. So sometimes people when the people say something to you, they just fall down like, oh, I don't want to do this ministry. I'm not good in that. I'm not going to teach again. So think about, this is my first English teaching. I don't want to speak, actually don't want to write English. I have fear of writing English essays. It's very hard to think, but in order to preach, in order to go to learn it, I have to do it. I have a bigger call for that. So that's why I'm doing it. And even I'm afraid to speak English, especially my pronunciations, but I'm doing that. So I think you can do that too. So, but I like that I answered them instead of saying, oh, I cannot do that. Oh, of course, I'm a weak person. Instead of that, he said, the God of heaven will prosper us. Therefore, we his servants will arise and build, but you have no portion or right or memorial in the Jerusalem. So what does it mean is we are as his servant. So basically, when it's God is heaven will prosper us, therefore his servant will arise and build this. So arise and build. So instead of I cannot do it, because God gives us prosper us, God gives us strength, we can actually arise and build this thing, which is that's the answer he gave it to them. So sometimes we have to learn how to give the answers. And the strategy is basically he strengthened himself by the God. So next time things happen to you, you're going to read this verse, just enjoy it, and I'll say, God of heaven will prosper us. Therefore, his servant will arise and build this ministry, build this company, build this family. So you can say those things. And thank you so much. And